Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher along with Jerry Burrow. And this is not a football show. We're not going to talk about that Super Bowl that took place. All those crazy Philadelphia fans, they can have that sport. We want to talk hockey because hockey players and hockey fans, they behave. They do things the right way.
Really?
And the UMD Bulldogs went out to Denver this week. They lost 1-0 on Friday. They lost 4-3 on Saturday. And I talked to the voice of the Bulldogs, Bruce Siski. I said, tough losses, back-to-back one-goal games. And he said the last 8 losses UMD's had to Denver have all been one-goal games, including that championship game from last year.
In the Frozen Four, yeah.
That's not a good record to have, I don't think.
Well, it's good that you're close, but you got to win a few.
Yeah, you're not getting nothing.
You got to be on the other side.
It would help.
Yep.
What do you take away from this weekend at Denver, other than 0 points?
Well, they must. It's tough. Denver is one of the best teams in the nation. You go out to the high altitude, the mile-high city.
There you go.
And they got some of the best players in college hockey. They're one of the best goalies. They got one of the best forwards. They're a good team, you know. Yeah. So just to compete with them is, I think, is good. But right now, at this time of the season, I wish they would have tried. They would have got a split. I would have been very happy with that. But they didn't.
Yeah. Right now, Denver sits atop the NCHC, 10-4-4, 37 points. UMD's at 4th, 8-10-0, 24 points. UMD will have this weekend off, and then they'll host Miami of Ohio this Friday and Saturday. What is it, the 16th, 17th?
Right.
Of February at Amsoil, 7:07 starts. Miami's in last place. They got to come out of this that weekend with Miami with a sweep.
But these are teams that they're coming up that we should get to 4 or 5 victories in these next 3 series after they're off this weekend. But they got Miami, Western Michigan at Western Michigan, and then Omaha comes in. And we got a local boy in Omaha. He always tries to make trouble for UMD, Jake Randolph, son of Coach Mike Randolph of Duluth East. So yeah. He's always had a pretty good. Seems like all the Duluth area kids that come back from other colleges play good when they come back.
Yeah, well, UMD took it on the chin at Denver this weekend. Two tough losses, 1-goal losses, both Friday and Saturday. Hopefully they can rest up this weekend as they are off, and then they'll resume. The 16th and 17th of February. Miami comes to Amsoil, and hopefully the Bulldogs can rebound. Currently, the rankings, Jer, in Division I?
Yeah, we got Notre Dame still up there, number 1. Then we got St. Cloud. Well, right now, in pairwise, there's 3 teams tied for number 1. They got Notre Dame, St. Cloud State, and Denver in the pairwise. And then they got Cornell, number 4, Minnesota State, team that beat UMD just a little over a week ago, 1-0. A lot of 1-0 games for UMD lately.
Yeah.
And they're number 5. That Coach Hastings doing a good job down there. Ohio State, Big Ten leader, they're number 6. Clarkson, number 7. North Dakota, number 8. We got Minnesota Gophers, number 9, or tied for 9 with Omaha. And then we got Minnesota Duluth, number 11. And the funny thing about it, Omaha and Minnesota Duluth both lost both games in their series, but they played high-up teams like St. Cloud State and Denver, and they didn't lose too much ground on the pairwise for losing both games. So this is a great opportunity for those 2 teams to win out or get 5 out of the next 6 victories, that they can be up in the top 10 in pairwise going into playoffs. So it's they have an opportunity now.
Yeah, right.
They got to take advantage of this.
Yeah, I've been impressed by this Bulldog team, this young, freshman-heavy Bulldog team. New goaltenders. I guess Shepard was here last year.
Right.
And But Miska left. You had the seniors and some of the other players that left, but they've kind of held their own.
Right. I tell you, I mean, they for what they lost last year, and like you're saying, these freshmen come in and doing the job they're doing. Hey, I mean, they're working as a team. They pressure that puck like crazy. I mean,
okay, looking at where they're at here and looking at where they're at in the standings, currently fourth place, and looking at their upcoming schedule, again, this weekend the Bulldogs have off, but they'll have 2 games at home against Miami,
right,
2 at Western Michigan, who's on their heels here in pairwise
right.
at 13th, and then they'll be at home against Omaha. And, you know, I would hope that out of those 3 games they can come away with at least 4 wins.
At least 4, and I hope for 5.
Yeah.
You know,
how will they be setting if they come out of this? Let's say they get 5 wins out of the next 3 games.
They're going to be in the top 4 for sure.
Yeah, so we're looking at home.
Yeah, home series. Yeah.
Okay.
And that helps a lot.
It does.
It always shows when you go on the road. It's tough to win on the road in this conference. You notice that.
Yeah.
And plus, I mean, most teams, this league is so close from top to bottom. There's seems like so many splits.
Yeah. So the Bulldogs, you know, they're not out of the woods yet. They've got to keep playing tough. They've got to at least maintain this 4th place. And Western Michigan is in 3rd place. And again, they come up. They'll play Western Michigan February 23rd, 24th.
At Western Michigan.
At Michigan, yeah. So they, this will be interesting to see what happens here as we wind out the final 3 series, starting with Miami at Amsoil February 16th, 17th. Okay, any final thoughts on UMD, on NCHC?
It's a great league.
Yeah.
I mean, they're filling the stands wherever you go. I mean, it's a great league, and boy, I'm going to be at the NCHC games more than Big Ten games this last month of the season.
Let's talk a little Big Ten. Minnesota, Notre Dame. Wisconsin's playing much better this year, even though they're 18th in the pairwise. But what have you seen in the Big Ten, and who's
Notre Dame has taken control of the Big Ten. I mean, they don't need to score too much. They just hold the other team to very low scoring. Mm-hmm. Something like Denver. Mm-hmm. You don't score too many goals on Denver, and.
So defensively they're sound?
Yeah, very sound because their style of play and that they like to clog up the neutral zone, and then they put a couple goals in and win the game 2-1, 2-0, you know. It's
an easy formula, and then you end up number 1 in pairwise.
Right.
And the coaches poll.
And then the Gophers, I mean, they like every year they got the players, but sometimes you wonder, what the heck's going on here? But then they play a good game, and so they're in the top 10 again.
Any prominent Minnesota boys on the Notre Dame roster?
Yeah, there is a few. They got defenseman, what's his name, Jordan Gross from Maple Grove. But they got a few other Edina kids. They get a lot of Edina kids.
Yeah, Anders Lee in the past.
Right. I mean, they get. They had Coach Lucia's for the Gophers kid, Mario. He played for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And they get, they have a few Wazetta kids.
Yeah.
Well, he was Wazetta.
You know, you brought up Mario Lucia in the Wild organization. What's his status?
He's down in Des Moines.
Does he have an NHL future? Will he see some games in the NHL?
I don't know. He's not been brought up.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just his youth still. He's pretty young. Mm. But, you know, you give him time. He's got size and... You know, we'll see.
Refresh us on Kiefer Bellows.
Kiefer Bellows.
Is he a property of... Who's he property of?
Boy, who is he?
Was it the Wild? No.
No.
I don't think
the Wild didn't get him. God, I can't think now.
But his dad, Brian Bellows, a former Minnesota North Star, and lives in the metro area.
Kiefer plays for Boston University. Mm-hmm. So he's having a great career out there in Boston. So I think he'll be all right in the pros.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
So,
all right.
Yeah, but a lot of Minnesota. Maybe before the season's over, we'll go over all the Minnesota kids in college and pros and that.
That'd be
talk
nice.
About how their season went and what to expect the following year.
What about former Bulldog Jack Conley? Is he still playing overseas?
Yeah, he's overseas still in Europe.
My goodness.
So
He's forged out a nice professional career
right,
over in the UK
Right.
or Germany or Sweden or wherever he is.
right, and he's playing all the time. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Where if he would have stayed here, who knows? He'd be going down. Let's say the Wild had his rights. He would be going down to Des Moines probably a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of, I guess they're just not into little small size. But it's changing. It's starting to change. You get this Johnny Goodrow up in Calgary, He's a small kid, and he's doing the job.
Yeah. D1 women, UMD fourth in the WCHA, 8-10-2, 28 points. First place, Wisconsin, 17-2-1 with 53 points. The women, what's their schedule looking
They
like?
got Wisconsin, and then they have to go down and wait. They got someone back home here. I got it over here. They got Wisconsin this weekend, down in Wisconsin, and then they have Minnesota State. So at Minnesota State. No, they got Wisconsin home. I'm sorry.
They'll be at Amsoil.
Yeah, Wisconsin at home. Then they go to Minnesota State. Wisconsin's going to be tough.
Well, yeah, they always are. They're the best team in the league.
They've been number one for years now.
So this weekend, the 9th and the 10th,
Yeah.
Wisconsin and UMD, 7 o'clock on Friday, 4 o'clock on Saturday.
And they're 1 point ahead of Bemidji State for the home field advantage for the playoffs. So, and another good thing, I hope they make. I kind of hope they make the playoffs at home because of the high school playoffs in 7AA and 7A will put their semi games at night, Friday and Saturday night, instead of all four on Saturday.
Former Bulldog women hockey player Murray, she's coaching that North Korean unified team in the Olympics that start Thursday.
Isn't that weird?
It really is something. D3 NCHA, St. Scholastica Saints, 8-7-1 in conference play. Overall, they're 14-8-1. Currently sit in 6th place. They'll play Friday and Saturday at Mars. Friday night at 7 against Marion, and Saturday 7 o'clock Lawrence up at Mars Lakeview Arena. This weekend, College of St. Scholastica. They got some good young players on that team. They had a nice little streak there where they had 10 consecutive wins. Nate Pionk.
Yeah. His brother is in the New York Rangers system, and hey, good for him that he's playing, and he's local, and you can go watch a local kid.
Who's one of the other guys? Mismash.
Oh, yeah. He was Edina boy.
Yeah, he's up at Scholastica.
Yeah, good.
Minnesota Wild, 52 games into the season. They currently stand with a record of 28-19-5, 61 points. They currently sit 8th in the Western Conference behind Vegas, number 1. Winnipeg, Nashville, St. Louis, San Jose, Dallas, LA, and then Minnesota. And I got to tell you, Jared, that game at Dallas Saturday, wow, what a letdown. My goodness.
You know, they talked about it on Friday night. Vegas came in, played Winnipeg the night before. Then they had to fly in late to the Twin Cities and play the next day with the Wild. And the Wild kind of took it to them. It was a 5-2 game, and the Wild looked really good. But I think maybe Vegas was a little tired. And then Boudreau, the coach, Bruce, said that, these players, when you have to go fly back into another city that night after a game, and you get in the early morning, and then you have to play a game that night, it's tough on the players,
Well, they all do it. All teams do that.
And plus on the road,
yeah.
Wild, if you look at their record,
Not
it's
good.
way below 500. There's
Not
about 5-6 games below 500. And if you want to be a championship team, you got to win 60% on the road.
Well, the Wild will play Tuesday night at St. Louis, and then they'll be home for five-game homestand that will start Thursday, February 8th. They'll host Arizona, and then Chicago comes to town for a game on Saturday the 10th, the New York Rangers on the 13th, Washington on the 15th, and then Anaheim on the 17th. They got a tough schedule here in the next 2 weeks.
Well, Arizona no game's easy. But if you look at an easy game, maybe Arizona.
Chicago, Rangers, Washington, Anaheim.
Well, Chicago's going to be, they're so close together, in the standings. That's a game. That's 4-point game when you play each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these games like that with St. Louis and Chicago, these are big games now.
In the Eastern Conference of the NHL, Tampa Bay 75 points, best team in the league. Then you got Boston and Washington, Toronto, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Colorado, and Philly. But my goodness, Pittsburgh, they creamed the Wild back on the 25th, and they're playing very good. Kessel, Malkin, of course, Sidney. They're cooking. They're on all 8 cylinders.
You know what's kind of funny? If the league stopped right now and start the playoffs, Minnesota would be playing Vegas in the playoffs.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be something? We're the bottom team playing the top team, the Vegas expansion team.
Based on what I've seen, the Wild in Vegas this year, I think 2 games only, but they match up well with them. I think it would be a good series. I think it would be in favor of the Wild, but we don't want to look too far ahead. But you look at this, the way it's set up. Again, the Wild have 61 points in 8th place, and then going up the ladder, LA 61 points, Dallas and San Jose 64, St. Louis 67, Nashville 69, Winnipeg 71, Vegas 74. But the Wild need to put together a nice win streak. Wouldn't it be nice if they could win all 5 of those games coming up in that homestand starting February 8th?
I'll tell you one thing. They are playing good at home.
They are.
I mean, they're doing better than
I think one loss in the last 19 games at home.
I'm telling you, I mean, their home percentage is way ahead. What I say 75% you got to win at home and 60% on the road, but they're winning over 80%. But they have to get that road. That's what's hurting them. Mm-hmm. That's why they should be a lot higher up if they had just even a 500 on the road, and give them an extra 10 points.
So, high school hockey. Duluth East.
This weekend, Duluth area had 3 of the best games in the state. Saturday afternoon, we had Elk River at Duluth East. It started out real fast, and Elk River put their first line out there a lot in that first period. But East scored a goal and got another one in 17 seconds, and it just changed the complex of the game, where East just took it to them the rest of the game, 7-0. The Elk River coaches, fans were going crazy during the whole game. Words were getting out there. One kid from Elk River got 3 penalties on one play, and
really,
it was crazy. He got kicked out of the game.
Oh man!
It just went crazy. But East won 7-0. East is on a roll right now. And tonight, well, this is Monday, they play Cloquet, the big rivalry, one of the probably the biggest rivalries in the state now, I think. But you got to get there early for this game.
Does East have the edge, though, Jer?
Yes, right now they would have a small edge.
Small edge?
Yeah, just because it's a rivalry.
Yeah.
Throw away records when you have a rivalry.
Sure.
Because those kids, they're ready. That's all they can't sleep now.
Yeah.
They're waiting for this game to come on.
All right.
So it's going to come down to the goalies, But East is on a roll. In the last 5 games, East has scored over 30 goals and only allowed 1.
Well, then you must have them ranked number 1 in Class AA.
I do not.
Oh, my goodness.
I still got Edina.
Really?
I still got Edina number 1, Duluth East number 2.
Now, why Edina at 1 over East at 2?
They've only lost 1 game. Their schedule, I think...
Well, East has only lost 1 game.
Yes, but I think overall, Edina's schedule has been a little tougher.
All right.
Because of their conference, they got Wayzata, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie. They played a lot of other good teams in the Twin Cities, and I just like them.
All right.
And so Duluth East, nothing bad with Duluth East being number 2 now.
No.
But then Minnetonka number 3, St. Thomas number 4. They just lost their second game. They were up here playing Duluth Marshall. This is a big game for Marshall, and it helped them a lot on computer rankings because they just beat, at the time, some rankings had them 2 and 3. I mean, most of them. And because they beat them in overtime 4-3. The 7AA is the only section that's going to go with computerized rankings. QRF it's called. And so this helped them a lot. So the rest of the season, 3 games or 2 games, whatever they have left,
Yeah.
if they win it, they have a chance to be at home.
Now
So
you're talking Marshall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a big win for them.
They beat St. Thomas Academy?
Right.
4-3?
Yeah.
I saw
in
that.
overtime.
I saw the score 3-3. I thought
It was 3-1 at one time, and they came back in
Yeah.
the third period, and Marshall tied it up.
they won that game.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And Hanson, the defenseman, scored the winning goal
All right.
in the overtime. So that was a great game. I was up there after the
Yeah.
East game. So then, at the same time when that game was going on, the 1 and 2 teams in Class A, Hermantown and Montemita, were going at it. And Hermantown won 4-1.
Nice.
And Bianchi kid that's coming over to UMD, Biondi, he scored all 4 goals for Hermantown.
Wow.
And he's just a sophomore. So
Was his dad
yes,
Joel?
that was the player he played
Really?
at UMD. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So that was a good game for Hermantown and him.
Yeah.
So the local teams did good with the big shots from the cities.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Right. So going over the rankings, St. Thomas was number 4. White Bear Lake is still doing real good. They're number 5. Cretan-Dermot Hall, I saw them last week against St. Thomas, and St. Thomas beat them 2-0. So, but they're a very good team. Solid, team play kind of team, not
Yeah.
the individual stars in that. Holy Family Catholic, number 7. Moorhead, number 8. Brainerd, I'm impressed with Brainerd, the way they're playing. I didn't have them in my top 10 or close to it at the beginning of the year.
Really?
But they're number 9. They got 3 lines that they just play as a team.
Yeah.
You can't tell the difference from 1 or 3rd line.
Wow.
You can't tell the difference. So
Wow.
sometimes that's great.
Yeah, so
3
solid
You
lines.
don't have to, like a lot of times team has 1 line. You just key on that 1 line to stop that 1
Yeah.
line. You stop the team.
Sure.
This team, you can't do that.
Brainerd.
Yeah, so that can be an upset over Moorhead from the beginning of the year because a lot
Yeah.
of people had Moorhead number 1 or 2 to start the season.
Yeah.
And they were number 2 last year with their whole team coming back.
Oh, who's Brainerd? Are they the Bunions?
No. What the?
I'm kidding.
I know, but that sounded good. They're changing their name next year. Okay, and then we got Andover, which is in the Duluth East section, number 10. And they're playing decent, real good hockey. So that's a tough top 10. I'd like to see most of these teams in the state tournament, and that would make a great state tournament. But like I always say, there's always going to be upsets.
You know, that game against Dallas, the Wild in Dallas, they talked to a former Centennial player in between periods, Pitlick.
Yeah.
And he's been in the NHL now for a while. I don't recall, but he playing in Dallas, and I thought, Riley Tufte's going to Dallas. And
Right.
Minnesota Wild, they could have picked Riley Tufte.
Right?
They passed him over.
They could have got Brock Besser.
Brock Besser as well. And, I know that we're, partial to our homegrown kids, and that's good. But I was not happy when they did not pick Tufte, and I hope that is something that doesn't come back to haunt them. Class A, Minnesota
Okay.
High School Hockey. Boys,
Okay, I got Hermantown number 1.
Really?
Yes.
6 losses.
Hey, there's no team. There's teams that only have 2 or 3 losses, but they're teams that don't play anybody, so that I wouldn't even put them in the top 10.
All right.
But Hermantown number 1, yes. And Orono number 2. St. Cloud Cathedral number 3. Montemita number 4. We got a range team number 5, Greenway.
Good to see them
Yeah.
playing well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Mound Wastana, Tonka, number 6. Sartell St. Stephen, number 7. Alexandria, number 8. Warroad, they've been playing. They started out the season, Warroad. I think they lost their first 6 games.
Yeah.
Now they're 12-9-1. So they're 12-3-1 since then.
Jeez.
So they're really have improved.
Yeah.
They're playing like the old War Road teams. And then, hey, we got another range team. They're playing excellent, man. Virginia, number 10. They just lost Hermantown just 2-1 in that. So
Yeah.
Virginia's playing real good hockey, too. And they have, well, Sites Arena over at the Heritage Center. That family, well, that's the grandkid. He's their best player, and he can be a D1 player. He's a great forward. He's scoring a lot of goals. And
I want to come back to Class AA in your honorable mentions, if you will. Cloquet and Duluth Marshall.
yep, they're getting right close to being in the top 10.
I was going to say, of those
Yeah.
two,
Yeah, it's a toss-up.
Yeah, okay.
You draw it out of the hat. They're
right.
so even. Right now, even in QRF, there's those three teams, Cloquet, Duluth Marshall, and Elk River are just so, right now they're almost tied.
yeah, but Elk River really took it in, they got spanked by East.
Yeah,
over
but
the
see,
weekend.
but when you get a top team, it's just like UMD losing to Denver, a top team, or Omaha losing to St. Cloud State. They didn't
Yeah.
lose too much ground in
Yeah.
the standings because they're playing a top team.
What about Wayzata?
Wayzata is like last year, they were just around 500,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they get to state because they started. It's when you peak, start playing good.
All right. Well, we've got just a couple of minutes here. Final thoughts, Jer, as we wrap up.
Well, I'm getting excited. Playoffs start in 2 weeks for high school hockey, and I tell you what, it's going to go right down to the end again this year. And boy, you got to get out there and watch these high school games
Yeah.
because it's exciting and the best atmosphere of any level of hockey.
What's East's schedule this coming
They got
weekend?
Cloquet tonight.
Monday,
They got Lakeville South at the Heritage Center on Thursday night.
Thursday.
And then they go down next Tuesday to Maple Grove.
Nothing this weekend.
Nope.
All right.
That's their last 3 games of the regular season.
So the next time we can see them, with the exception of tonight, would be Thursday at Heritage.
Right.
With Cloquet.
Right.
Or
Lakeville South.
Lakeville South.
Yes.
Wow. There you go. You got it all here. Minnesota Hockey Connection. Find us on Facebook and like us. MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. Find us on YouTube. We got a great YouTube channel. We got a viewer out in Brooklyn, New York. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching us on YouTube. We want to thank the staff at PACT-TV, where this program is produced. And we'll be back here next week to drop the puck.
And there might be a player from Duluth East that gets committed to a D1 college by next week. And I hope it happens this week so I can tell you about it. So otherwise, see you at the rink.
We'll see ya.